The summer sun of August 1526 rose slowly over the plains of Hungary. A quiet mist covered the wide fields near the small town of Mohács. At first glance, the land looked peaceful. But beneath that calm morning air, history was about to change forever. Two powerful armies stood facing each other. On one side stood the mighty army of the Ottoman Empire, led by the legendary Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. His empire stretched across 3 continents, and his soldiers were among the most disciplined warriors in the world. On the other side stood the army of the Kingdom of Hungary, led by their young king, Louis II. Hungary had long been one of the strongest defenders of Central Europe. But this day would test its strength like never before. The Hungarian nobles believed they had no choice but to fight. The Ottoman Empire had been expanding steadily into Europe, and Mohács would be the place where they hoped to stop the advance. The Ottoman army arrived with incredible preparation. Thousands of elite janissaries stood in organized lines. Powerful cannons were carefully positioned across the battlefield. Cavalry units waited silently on the flanks, ready to strike like lightning. Sultan Suleiman watched the battlefield calmly from a distance. He was only 32 years old, but already known across the world as a brilliant leader. Across the field, the Hungarian forces prepared themselves with determination. Their knights wore heavy armor shining in the morning sun. Many believed their powerful cavalry charge could break the Ottoman lines quickly. But the battlefield of Mohács had its own hidden dangers. The land was marshy and uneven. What looked like solid ground was often soft and wet beneath the surface. This terrain would soon play a deadly role in the battle. By the afternoon, the tension had reached its peak. Then suddenly the Hungarian army began their attack. Thousands of armored knights charged forward with incredible force. Their horses thundered across the plains, their banners flying high. It looked like a wave of steel rushing toward the Ottoman lines. For a moment it seemed unstoppable. The Hungarian cavalry crashed into the front Ottoman units and pushed them back. Dust filled the air. Soldiers shouted. Steel clashed against steel, but this was exactly what the Ottoman commanders had expected. As the Hungarian knights pushed forward, they unknowingly moved deeper into a deadly trap. Suddenly, Ottoman cannons roared to life. The sound of artillery echoed across the battlefield like thunder. Cannonballs tore through the charging cavalry. Horses panicked. Formations broke apart. At the same time, disciplined lines of janissaries raised their firearms and fired volley after volley. Smoke covered the battlefield. Then came the final blow. Ottoman cavalry units hidden on the sides of the battlefield suddenly moved in. They surrounded the Hungarian army from multiple directions. What had begun as a powerful charge quickly turned into chaos. Within a short time, the Hungarian army was collapsing. King Louis II tried desperately to escape the battlefield as his forces were overwhelmed, but fate had already decided the outcome. While attempting to flee, the young king fell from his horse into a muddy stream. Trapped beneath his heavy armor, he drowned. With the death of their king, the Hungarian army completely fell apart. The battle was over. Shockingly, the entire conflict had lasted less than 2 hours. 2 hours that would reshape the map of Europe. The defeat at Mohács destroyed the power of the Kingdom of Hungary. Within a short time, much of the country came under Ottoman control. For the Ottoman Empire, it was one of the most decisive victories in its long military history. For Hungary, it became a national tragedy remembered for centuries. Even today, historians often repeat a famous saying about that day: more was lost at Mohács than just a battle, because on that battlefield, an entire kingdom lost its future. The quiet plains of Mohács returned to silence after the fighting ended. But the echoes of that battle would be heard across Europe for generations. History had been rewritten, and it had taken less than 2 hours